Hey y'all, welcome back with me, Dr. Simonica Nicole. We're back with another conversation, honey. Okay. This conversation came after I finished doing the vlog for today. It's still uploading, so y'all gonna get the vlog tomorrow. It's like a 45-minute vlog too, y'all. But I really been enjoying making these vlogs. But so this conversation came after I finished like reflecting on a dream that I had, right? And this is something that I've ran into in various spaces. I've ran into it with clients. I've ran into it at my jobs. I've ran into it in so many different places. And I'm sure a lot of y'all have heard it before too. But people will be like, this email could have, this meeting could have been an email. And I'll be sitting back like, no, it couldn't have. Okay, I got a few reasons why it couldn't have been a dang on email. And reasons 1 through 10 is the fact that y'all don't be reading the emails. The amount of times that I've had people tell me that they don't read the emails all the way through, even if they know it has information in it. And it's always so interesting. Like, I understand why supervisors and things of that nature, why they have these meetings and things of that nature, because most times everything that you include in the email, you end up having a bunch of people coming and asking you questions that would have been answered if they read the email. And you can label the email important, please read, important before this, or whatever the case is. And there's still going to be multiple people who come up to you asking a question that was answered in the email. And it has you sitting there and wondering, like, what causes this? And I think a lot of it is the fact that a lot of people don't like to read. Especially since we live in such a popcorn generation now. With the internet, everything is fast, everything is to you. The attention spans of people are very short. And if you have a short attention span and you telling me to sit here to read, and not only is reading just the act of reading, you got to comprehend what it is that you're reading. So I feel like a lot of people have been pushed and trained with this microwave type generation to where reading is boring, and the sense of having to read the words, comprehend what it's saying, internalize it, a lot of people's attention spans are gone from it. And that's why face-to-face meetings are typically better than emails nowadays. As much as we may not like it, as much as we feel like, oh, it's wasting our time, well, if more of us actually read the emails that people took their time to create and send out, the less we'll have this happen. But that also comes with a sense of a lot of people don't allow themselves to slow down. And I can't just fault this strictly on people, because reality is that the world that we live in, it makes it hard for you to slow down. There's always something going on. You got to fit 100 things into one day to be productive, to get this done, to get this done. You got to go from this job to this job. You got to go from this job, pick up your child from this practice or whatever the case is. And you got to get home, cook dinner. Then you got to do this. Then you got to clean. Then you got to wash clothes. And you have a lot of things typically in your responsibility list to do. So sitting and reading is more difficult than sitting and listening to something. And what a lot of people don't realize is that a lot of browsers actually have a reader friendly thing. So like, even with blogs, what I'll do is that, dang, I wish I could show y'all, well, I may be able to show y'all on this phone, but with a lot of blogs, actually, I'm going to go to my blog. You can actually have your phone or your browser read it to you. You know what I'm saying? Because I understand a lot of people don't read. It's not just because of the fact they don't want to. It's the fact of, like, they've been taught to skim, and they've been taught to, do things faster, to hurry up. You got things to do and all that jazz. So, okay, I'm on my blog. If y'all haven't checked out my travel blog, why you ain't on there yet? Okay, why you ain't subscribed to the newsletter? Okay, my check baggage. The links are always inside of my description box of my videos, but I publish a blog post every day. Okay, they're typically at nighttime because it takes me throughout the day to get it written and done. But so if you want a blog post, for example, or even a web page, so any web page your phone can do this. At least I know on Apple it can. You'll click those that box with the two lines under it, and then you'll see how it has here listen to page. I'll just click on listen to page, and then it should. Can you hear it? A lot of people dream about becoming a full-time nomad and living around the world. So it may be able to come through the phone. It may be able to come through the phone, or it may not. I know sometimes with technology it doesn't do that, but let me turn it off. But yes, so a lot of people don't realize that a lot of websites and things of that nature, you can have it read to you. Same thing with your email. So if you don't have time and you need to slow down and still get the information, have your browser read it to you. There's a lot of plugins and things of that nature. A lot of times you can also select all of the content on the page and then select read out loud. And that is an accommodation that was added, um, because that's an accommodation. For example, I was a licensed special education teacher as well as within my doctorate within special education. And read aloud was one of the biggest types of, not modifications, but accommodations that we would have to provide. And something that I came to find is that a lot of students needed read aloud. So, in a lot of times, reading the context out loud ended up being a tier one support. It ended up being a support that everyone had access to, because we realized like it definitely helped everyone to have it as a tier one support at times when they weren't meant to be independent within their work, right? But I have to remember, we all have to remember that children grow up to be adults. And if you're not someone who reads for fun, if you're not someone who, I used to read the newspaper, I used to read everything. But I also grew up at a time where we didn't have social media, we didn't have, the TikToks and all this other jazz to take our attention away from us. And then with me being a writer, an author, and things of that nature, I read by default. It's a part of my lifestyle. It's a part of my life. So I read the emails. I read all of that shit. You know what I'm saying? But we have to realize that not everyone is in that space. And so I will say, as a people, though, I want us to allow ourselves to slow down more and do more tasks that force us to slow down, because that helps our nervous system. That helps our emotional balance. That helps our mental health, to do things that forces us to slow down. Because if we're always in this constant movement, this constant survival, energy, because not slowing down to read is honestly a symptom of being in survival a lot of times. Because you feel like you got something else you gotta do. You gotta get this done, you gotta get this done, you gotta get this done, you gotta get this done. But it's like, allow yourself the time to slow down, to listen. Allow yourself the time to slow down, to read, to process, to intake what's going on around you. It's good for your health. It's good for your health. And if there's anything that you can do outside, like to start delegating more support in some areas, a lot of times we do be adding extra responsibilities onto ourselves because we feel like we got to do everything. If you don't delegate that out to somebody else to do, if you don't delegate that out to your partner, to your child, whatever the case is, so that you can have more time to get things done, you better. It's good for your health. I'm telling you, it's good for your health. Like, I'm not saying you gotta, make time to be able to read, hundreds of books every month, but allow yourself, give yourself permission to slow down and truly read and consume, translate, and comprehend what is being shared and what's being done. Because receiving written information, it touches another part of your brain than receiving just visual and auditory information. And we want to have a balance there. So don't allow yourself to lose that balance, is all I'm trying to say, honey. Okay. But I'm going to leave this conversation here, y'all. I thank y'all for being here. And I need y'all to always remember sometimes it really is that deep. Don't let nobody gaslight you into thinking that you thinking too deep into something, that it ain't that serious and all that jazz. Because sometimes it really is that deep. Make sure you check the links inside of the description box where I have to my blog, website, courses, classes, all that jazz. And then I'm also going to link my chapstick. I absolutely love this chapstick. As someone who be biting on their lip and stuff all the time, I absolutely love this chapstick. So definitely check this out. Everything will be down below inside of the comments. I love y'all, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye.